Chop, the show where we show you how to take vegetables and make them into delicious, healthy meals. I've made the decision that live TV is not for me, so I appreciate everybody that took the time to watch my show live, but Odessa needs to be able to edit out, especially when she nearly starts her house on fire. Anyhow, for those of you that enjoyed watching all the eggs poured on my floor last week, hopefully we will edit out any of those type of errors. And today we are going to be making a absolutely delicious 30-minute dish from the beginning of cooking to the table. And it's going to be a prosciutto pesto vegetable primavera pasta. Prosciutto, pesto, vegetable, primavera pasta. There we go. It's a mouthful. Anyhow, it's just going to be a delicious pile of pasta and vegetables that you guys are really going to enjoy. So let's get started. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do is put on a pot of boiling water here. Mine's already boiling, as you could tell. But if you get this started now, by the time your other ingredients are ready, your pasta will be ready to boil. So put it quite full, and then 1 teaspoon of sea salt and half a teaspoon of regular sea salt, or regular salt if you don't have sea salt, tends to be a little saltier. So first thing we're going to do is start with half an onion. Put that over to the side. As you can see, as per usual, I have my bullshit bowl, which then lands in the freezer, which then lands in the soup pot. Never is my stock the same twice. Now, my chef friends hate how I cook onions because it's not the right way. Pardon me, cut onions. But I've recently learned that, I'm not going to be trying out for Chef of the Universe. I'm just trying out for making a delicious dinner. So there is a right way and a wrong way, but then there's also my own way and your own way. So the chefs, they want you to go this way. Every time I try that, I pretty much cut myself. So as you can see, the onion already does have layers, so it's not that big of a deal. So we're going to hold the half of the onion down on our cutting board, and we're first going to go sideways in about 1 to 2 millimeter slices, or if you like a chunkier onion, you can cut this bigger. Now going this way, we're also going to go a little bit skinnier, so we have some nice little pieces. There we have it. So I've got myself a nice stainless steel pan here, thick bottom. You can use a regular pan or a non-stick. Just make sure you keep an eye on the heat because those tend to burn faster. That was about 1 tablespoon of olive oil. And we're just going to get those onions started. And that's on medium heat. Back here on the stove, give them a little shake. And to that you can add, showing off a brand, you can add half a teaspoon, you can add 2 tablespoons. Around here, we're kind of a 1.5 tablespoon family. That works out to about 3 cloves of garlic, if you want to chop it up by hand. I personally love the jarred garlic. It's very versatile, and you can really use the oil in the jar to add some flavors. Now, Rhonda, I know you're watching. Pam, I know you're watching. Everyone else I know that has to follow the FODMAP diet and can't have onions and garlic, you can make this recipe without onions and garlic, and it will taste delicious. So, just gonna give that a little stir here. You can tell that it's sizzling a little hot, so my pan is too high. If you see your garlic start to jump, your pan's too hot. This should be a nice light saute. We can have some mistakes on the non-live version. So drop that down and get that sizzling out a little bit. belief, and many nutritionists and scientists as well, that we all eat way too much meat. But as most of us know, meat is delicious. So what we're going to try to do here on Rough Chop is use meat like it's an accompaniment or a seasoning instead of the main event for the most part. So today we're going to do a little bit of chicken and a little bit of prosciutto. So prosciutto is Italian bacon, and it is actually edible without being cooked, which is the difference between that and North American bacon. We're going to take 4 pieces of that and stack it on top of each other, and then you'll notice that the prosciutto kind of has a natural slice down the middle, just based on the way the meat it's made out of is shaped. And once we've done that, we're just going to lightly cut that into some nice little strippy strips. And we're just gonna, fun fact, you can absolutely do this with regular bacon if you don't have any prosciutto, or if you don't like prosciutto. Just means it'll cook a little bit longer because, of course, regular bacon is not, I don't know why I'm taking so long to do this. We can make this a rainbow prosciutto. You'll have a chance to break it up a little better while you're cooking it either as well. So, as you can see, our onions and our garlic are starting to caramelize a little bit. We're just going to keep that going. Today. It's such a nice day yesterday, and today's not the greatest, but it's still lovely. Now I'm going to take the time to throw my macaroni in. Here's a very fun, handy little fact for you. Did you know if you put a tiny, tiny bit of fat, and I mean like a tiny, tiny, tiny bit, into a boiling pot, it generally will not overboil. Let's just give that a stir so it doesn't stick. We'll let that go. Alright, so we have our aromatics on the go here. Still feels like that burner is a little high. I gotta tell you, I miss an electric or a gas burner, this induction stove top. Sometimes we have some misses here in the Brunoise kitchen. Alright, that is good to go. Now, I also have about half of a chicken breast left here from last night's dinner that's been seasoned, just, nothing particularly, ethnic or bold, so it'll fit in here nicely. If you don't have any leftover chicken, don't worry about it. If you have leftover salmon, basically anything you like, or stick with the prosciutto. I'm just throwing it in here because I have too tiny of a portion to really do anything else with, and I think it'll liven up the flavors. There we go. So we've got that on the go. A little piece of prosciutto tried to get away. In the pan she goes. Now, we're going to do our vegetables. And of course, we're always remembering to stir our macaroni so it doesn't stick. And I like to use the same spoon because then I can get a little of the water over there and keep things nice and moist. So, generally, I like to do 3 to 4 vegetables in this because it's a Primavera and that's generally what it is. But today I'm going to go with 3, and I have chosen some mushrooms, some broccoli, and some zucchini. So we're going to go in order of how long a vegetable takes to cook. So imagine you were just putting it in a pot and steaming it. Which one do you think takes the longest? So in this particular area, it's going to be broccoli, but I'm going to do the mushrooms first because, as we all know, mushrooms are sort of like sponges, and I want them to soak up the flavor of our aromatics. So, me and mushrooms, we make it easy. Quarter, cut it in half, cut it in quarters, cut it in half, Cut it in quarters. When it's ready, in the pan it goes, and every time something goes in, we're gonna give the pan a little shake, shake, and make some noise. You knew there would still be singing. Shimmy, shake, make some noise. Those of us that don't like mushrooms, this is a great place for a green pepper or a yellow pepper or a bell pepper. Cauliflower would probably work quite nicely. If you have very few vegetables, this is a great time for a carrot to come out. Except for the carrots, you're going to want to cut a little bit smaller because, of course, they take a really long time to cook. But this recipe can basically be adapted with, you know, anything you have in your fridge that would be considered like not a leafy green or particularly wet. So this is not a good place for a tomato. We don't want that. What else would go terribly in here? Just anything that's super wet. You know, you want a bit of a firmer vegetable. Okay, so for this one, we want flowerets, which means we're going to take this broccoli and we're going to give it the old right at the neck. So you'll see we have these little doodads. And then we just pull off little tiny guys. If it gets a little close, for the record, I love beet stem, broccoli stem. Now we want these to be nice and bite-sized, but the same size as our bacon and our mushroom. Giving you a haircut. Broccoli and cabbage go great in the soup pot. So any broccoli stems you have, cabbage stems, leftovers. If you're feeling super brave, you can juice them too, but they've got a powerful taste. Let's just put it that way. Let's get our greens in there. Oh yeah. How's our macaroni doing? Two more to go here. Wrong bowl. Now, here is a fact for you. If you follow a gluten-free diet, this works great with brown rice pasta as well. I like it a lot. There we go. Plenty of florets. That's going to be tasty. And there you go. Now let's just take a minute here to tidy up our board. And I did cut the prosciutto on here, but it is a cooked meat, so we're not going to panic too much like we would if it was a raw meat. If it was a raw meat, I certainly wouldn't be using my wooden cutting board either. It's a very bad idea because, of course, your wooden cutting board is alive and it has lots of grooves and lots of bacteria can get trapped down there. So, alrighty. Now for the zucchini, we're going to want it in cubes, which means we're going to cut it into thirds. Try not to stab ourselves with a knife. Lay it out. The ends, cut down the middle. The middle, we can get 3 cubes out of there. Look how easy that is. And then, just like that, bam. Do that again, in half. Or you can do it 2 ways, look at me go. That's usually the way I do it. Looks like I got a little wild with my last chop there. And in she goes. Now normally, this is where I would put some seasoning in, but this is a jarred pesto product we're going to be using tonight. And it's got plenty of seasoning in it, so we're just going to hit it with a tiny bit of pepper. And then of course, as always, my secret ingredient, 1 little squirt of that. a little cleanup because this bottle likes to get stuck quite easily. Now, let us see what's going on with our macaroni here. Now, you can use any pasta you want for this. Shorter is better. A penne, a rotini. This is kind of not a very liquidy sauce, so you need a firm, ridgy pasta. You can make it with linguine or spaghetti if that's all you have. I prefer it this way. So we're gonna bring out some of the macaroni. Let that cool for 2 seconds. Now, it's almost cooked, which is perfect, because now is when we need to realize that it's going to carry over cook with our sauce, and you'll see. Don't cook it too much. Let's take a break while we drain. All right, we've drained our pasta and our lovely topping here is getting close to where we want it, so we'll just let that go for another couple of minutes. Welcome back. Unfortunately, I didn't have the button pressed when I made the rest of this lovely pasta, so let's just give you a rundown. I cooked my pasta to package directions. For me, macaroni, that's about 5 to 7 minutes. Put it in my most treasured bowl, made by my Auntie Marguerite. All of us have one. It's a family heirloom. I'm ferocious about this bowl. Don't ever try to keep it after a potluck. Who am I kidding? I never take it to a potluck. Now, oh, this is so frustrating. It was so beautiful. I did such a nice job. I'll get it yet, I promise. So, we cooked the macaroni. I cooked 4 cups. So if you are cooking for 2 people, you're gonna wanna cook 2 cups. For 4 people, a cup per person, basically. Then we're gonna add in 1 heaped teaspoon of the ground up pesto that you can get in any grocery store for each cup of pasta. So I did 4. And then I steamed the vegetables very quickly with about a teaspoon of water and a lid, and then tossed them quickly into the pasta and stirred it all up. We already put cheese on there, but you know, you didn't get to see it, so we'll put a little bit more cheese on there. Thank you for watching. I will catch on to how to finally do this properly one day. Practice makes perfect, but I'm not here to be made a superstar. I'm here to teach you how to make delicious food fast for your family, stay out of the drive-through lines, and make sure to eat lots of vegetables and have a great time doing it. Hope you have a great night.